Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dr. DeAndrea Matthews, and I am the founder and CEO of Claire Alden Publications, where I turn manuscripts into masterpieces. Thank you for the opportunity for a Teach Me Wednesday moment. So today I want to talk for just a moment about how I move manuscripts into becoming masterpieces. We want to talk about how manuscripts go from concept all the way to publication on time and on budget. Again, my name is DeAndrea Matthews. I am an author. I am a publisher, as well as an international speaker. I am also a senior pastor of Visions International Ministry. So thank you again for the opportunity today. So there are a lot of components that go into going from blank page to published author. And if any authors are out there, you know exactly what I'm talking about. At Claire Alden Publications, we use a 5-step process, and those 5 pillars are book production, book design, book marketing, book publishing, and book distribution. And each of those processes has lots of different aspects of what goes into making sure that at the end of the day, you have a quality, industry standard, professional book. So what does that mean? How can that impact this community? Well, the thing that I want to focus on, I'll talk a little bit about the overall processes, but the thing that I want to focus on are the use of Bible translations within your manuscript, because that's one of the things in the editing process that takes a lot of time to make sure that everything is not only listed accurately and the words are the same way that they are in the Bible translation that's being used, but the specifics about Bible translations that you may or may not know. So, as far as going from, again, just your traditional manuscript to becoming a masterpiece, there are different things that take into consideration what is necessary in order to do that. So a lot of times it depends on the length of a book. The length of a book will determine how long this process is going to take, because it is a very different process for a, say, for example, 5,000 word ebook versus a 60,000 word manuscript. So obviously it's going to take a little bit longer with 60,000 words versus 5,000 words. So length has a lot of emphasis on what the time frame is or what the timeline is for completing your manuscript. The other things that you want to consider are, of course, the editing process. Now, some of you may not realize there are over 12 different types of editors. So when you're looking at editing, you want to make sure that you have an editor who works within your genre, who is familiar with your genre. Hi there, Eston. Thank you for allowing me to have this opportunity. You want to think about that. You also want to think about, again, what are the other aspects that I'm going to have to consider? If you know that, again, you're not the best speller, you may want to emphasize a little bit more as far as the content editing. If you know that, okay, I just threw a bunch of things together, I need some assistance with flow, making sure it's in the right place, then you want to consider developmental editing. Those are just 2 examples out of the 12. For example, with all of our manuscripts at Claire Alden Publications, we go through 3 rounds of professional editing. Those 3 rounds typically is enough to, again, move any manuscript to a masterpiece. But as the manuscript is more complicated or requires more, we, of course, put that extra attention in it. You also want to look at cover design. Cover design is important because, of course, you know, a lot of people say you can't judge a book by its cover, but if you ever purchased a book, you already know that the cover is what draws you in. As an author, even at an author event, if you see someone who picks it up and is attracted to the cover, what's the next thing that they're going to do? They're going to turn over to the back of the book to look at the book description. So once they look at the book description, if it still intrigues them and draws them in, they're probably going to open up the book and flip to the table of contents, or at least browse through the book. Those are all things that let you know that this person is interested in the book. So you want to focus on the book cover, because that's the first thing that draws people in. Your book cover is important, and cover design is one of the places where you want to spend a little bit of time and a lot of effort. Well, as much time as necessary, but a lot of effort. So again, editing is probably one of the more expensive parts of the process. The cover design can be anywhere from, again, if you go to Fiverr to get your cover done, it might be anywhere from $25 on up to $500, depending on how complex it is and what type of professional cover designer that you use. There's also the formatting process. There's also typesetting. And of course, you want to start with marketing about 6 months at least before your book actually comes out. So even that may be before you finish writing the book, but you want to start talking about the book and again, pulling people into what you're working on so that you are building momentum as you complete your story. Like I said, the final thing I want to talk about is with regards to Bible translations, because we're working amongst a community of Christian entrepreneurs. So when it comes to Bible translations, of course, a lot of people think, well, the Bible is in the public domain. I can use as many scriptures as I want. But that's not necessarily true. The King James Version, the authorized King James Version, is in the public domain, and that's because it's over 75 years old. But if you like other Bible translations, say, for example, New King James, Amplified Bible, New Living Translation, The Message, or any other translation that you prefer, those all have specific copyright notices that must be adhered to. So you can't just use any type of scripture in your manuscript. And you want to make sure that you have the proper copyright notice. So that, of course, goes on your copyright page. But I'll just give you a couple examples and then I'll end for today for this Teach Me Wednesday moment. So, for example, if you're using a particular translation, and I don't have the list in front of me, but if you're using a particular translation, most translations do not allow you to use more than 25%. And what that means is your use of that Bible translation cannot be equal to more than 25% of your manuscript itself. So if you have a 100-page manuscript, you can't have more than 25 pages essentially of Bible scriptures. The other thing to keep in mind is a lot of translations limit its use to 300 words. Now, if you think about, again, how lengthy some particular verses are, 300 words can be maxed out pretty quickly. So as a publisher, those are the types of things that I look at when I'm dealing with Christian authors, particularly those writing Christian nonfiction, and nonfiction is my preference as far as my publishing company. So again, those are just a couple tidbits that I wanted to share with you on this Teach Me Wednesday. There's so much more that I can go into when it comes to writing, publishing, and selling books. But that is my Teach Me Wednesday moment. Again, this has been Dr. DeAndrea Matthews, founder and CEO of Claire Alden Publications, an award-winning hybrid publishing company that is a member of the Independent Book Publishers Association and is accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Again, thank you for this opportunity, and I hope you learned something. Take care. I love you with the love of Jesus. We'll be in touch soon. Bye-bye.